Today I'm going to take you through a full day of eating, but I am not using my scale, I am not using my FitnessPal. What is up, YouTube? I am coming live from my new room here in Florida at my aunt's house. I have a mess in the back, so just ignore that, and I am in a bathing suit because I am about to go to the beach. But I just want to make a quick little intro for this video. So I have been wanting to do this for a long time, and the reason being is because I feel like a lot of people feel like they need to track their macros to actually see progress and see results in their physique and just to achieve their fitness goals. And honestly, that's not necessarily always the case. Like, you can, if you're just a beginner and you're just trying to get to a healthy body weight, healthy body fat, you can easily achieve that by just watching what you eat, knowing your portions, and just controlling what you're eating, being mindful about what you're putting in your body. So today I'm going to take you through a full day of eating, but I am not using my scale, I am not using my FitnessPal. We're simply gonna eat intuitively. So I have a few tricks in mind to show you guys how you can kind of have an idea of what you're putting in your body without having to, you know, just stress about how much it weighs, how much of everything you're having, logging it into a food app. So that's what today's gonna look like. I just wanted to make this quick little intro before we head to the beach so I can show you what I'm gonna have for breakfast since I haven't eaten yet. So with that being said, let's go. For carbs, I'm having these oatmeals. I love them. They taste so freaking good. I have maple brown sugar and cinnamon roll, and the macros are, you can't see them here, but I think it's like 2 fat, 18 carb, 3 grams of fiber, and 3 grams of protein. So it's pretty decent. They taste really good, and they're like pre-made for you, so you know exactly how much water to put in them and tell you exactly how long to put them in there for. I'm gonna throw some strawberries in there. So normally I can just eyeball how much I'm putting in there, but for today's sake we're gonna use a measuring cup. You really don't have to do this. Like, you can do it a few times just to get an idea of how things look as a portion, but after a few weeks, I would say, you should be more than ready to start just eyeballing things and doing it all on your own. Half cup of strawberries, and that should be good enough. Alright, you guys, so we got some oat fit, frozen strawberries, some cinnamon, salted peanut butter, egg whites, spinach, mushrooms, cooked in olive oil as well. So we got a good amount of healthy fats, protein, and carbohydrates with some fats as well. So one of these little Reese's peanut butter eggs only has 5 fat, 9 carb, and 2 grams of protein. Completely fine to have one of these. The issue is that we usually go for the whole bag. Seriously, it's completely fine to have just one. You do not need to restrict yourself to see progress and make progress. You up, yeah. Made to sing again. This is honestly the best tripod I have ever seen in my life. What you guys just saw is not what I'm taking to the beach with me, but they are really good snack ideas for those of you who have a really busy life and just don't have time to maybe prep meals to work, and you do get hungry at work and you don't just want to reach over for chips or whatever is easiest to get your hands on. So there's some rice cakes, there's some cashews, banana, almonds, there's these enlightened broad beans, which I love. If you guys haven't tried these before, highly recommend them. They have savory and sweet ones. And then the Power Crunch bars, and then a higher protein bar. These are one of my favorite protein bars. If you guys haven't tried the grenade ones, I don't think you can get them in stores in the States or in Canada, but you can order them online, I believe. And honestly, all the flavors are really, really good. The caramel chaos is on point. 8 fat, 20 some carb, and 20 some protein. So kind of like Quest bars, kind of like most protein bars. And then the Power Crunch bars are a little bit higher fat, lower carb, and moderate protein. So if you are trying to go for a lower carb diet, protein bars usually aren't the best snack to go for. If you're looking for something that's a high protein snack, you can do like some some Greek yogurt, there's cottage cheese. There are also like Quest chips, which are super high in protein, low in fat and carbs. So those are some really good snacks if you want more protein snacks. These are awesome if you have a higher carb, lower fat diet, because these are kind of like almonds, but they're really low fat and they're moderate carb. So one of these little packs has 2.5 fat, 16 carb, 6 grams of fiber, and 7 grams of protein. I don't know if I'm gonna take any of this to the beach with me. Like, I feel good after that breakfast. I'm gonna figure out if I want to take anything to the beach, and I will catch you guys over there.
And now, baby, back up on your feet.
It's currently 12:35 p.m. and we still haven't gone to the beach yet, but I think we're finally making our way there before we get some food. So we're at Pollo right now. They do have the macros online, but since I'm not tracking macros, we're gonna be eyeballing everything. So let's see what I get.
All you wanna do, baby, is run the street. Listen, you do.
Chicken with half rice, half lettuce, but I want white rice. And then I want black beans on top. So I got some chicken, beans, white rice, and some peppers and tomatoes on top. I did ask for half lettuce, half rice though, and I do not see the lettuce, so that's concerning. Like I expected, there is no lettuce in here. It's literally pure rice, beans, and chicken. So there's a whole lot of carbs in here. Decent amount of protein, so I'm probably only gonna have half the beans, half the rice. Obviously having the plantain, because plantain is bait. I don't care if it's deep fried, you just don't say no to plantain. So I'm gonna have this, and I'll probably save the rest for later. I'm gonna try and get some color while I eat my food, and I will see you guys later. And that is about all that I am eating. I really want to keep eating the rice and the beans because I'm Colombian and I love this kind of stuff, but it's just a little too much. Alright guys, so this is my third meal of the day. We're having some chicken breast, there's some spinach, shredded lettuce, some tomatoes, and some holy guacamole on top. And then I use some seasonings as my dressing because I don't actually like using dressings. They can add up really easily, especially if you're not tracking them and weighing them out. Don't knock it till you try it. It's super good. I definitely don't think my headband realizes how much it's saving my life right now, because if you guys saw my hair, it's just such a mess after being at the beach all day, and it's so windy here and it just looks crazy. But that's not very relevant, so I'm gonna stop talking about that and get right to the point. I did want to make today a full day of eating, but I do realize that I didn't really plan it very well, and my day is just basically gonna be the foods that I normally eat every single day. So when I do full days of eating, I like to bring you guys new recipes and new things that you haven't seen on my channel before for the most part. And honestly, I just don't really have much food here in the apartment yet. I have like butternut squash that's not even cooked. I have sweet potatoes that aren't even cooked. But the main purpose of this video basically was for me to talk a little bit about intuitive eating, whether it's necessary to track macros or not, to see results and to achieve your fat loss or muscle gain or maintaining goals or whatever fitness goals you have. In my opinion, I don't think it's 100% necessary. I do think it's very useful for people to do at least for like 1 to 2 months of their lives, because it just gives you a whole new perspective on food, because you actually get to see how much you should be eating and what actually is in food and your portion sizes and all of that. Because honestly, I can definitely say that before I started tracking macros, I wasn't really aware of what I was eating and how much I really needed to eat. And when I did get into fitness and I was trying to lose weight, I honestly didn't track macros. I didn't follow a diet. I simply just changed my eating habits. I stuck to very healthy, wholesome, nutritious food. And that alone put me in a deficit just because I was eating so healthy. Like I would just have like rice here and there, and then I had lots of vegetables and fruit and chicken and avocado and nuts and peanut butter. So when you stick to more wholesome, simple food, I guess, you honestly just, for the most part, will be in a caloric deficit, just because that kind of food is very filling, and the fact that you're eating food that's filling you up and just making you feel satisfied, you're not going to feel the need to reach over for other food and just keep eating, which is something that happens a lot when we eat a lot of processed foods and just foods that have empty calories, I guess you can call them. So just foods that aren't very nutrient dense. So I definitely do think it's beneficial to track macros at least at one point in your life, just so you get a rough idea of what food portions look like, how much you should be eating, and then after a while you can definitely try to transition off from tracking macros and just go into a more intuitive approach. When you do intuitive eating, you have to make sure that you're very in tune with your hunger cues and that you really pay attention to what you're eating, because the thing with flexible dieting is that if you're tracking your macros, you can kind of make things fit because you know that they fit into your macronutrient intake. Whereas if you're doing intuitive eating and you just kind of want to have an ice cream one day, you can have that ice cream, but you don't really know whether it's going to put you over your normal intake or not. But so that's kind of why it's important to make sure that you're basing off your decision whether to track macros or intuitive eat on your goals. If you do have specific physique goals and you're trying to achieve a specific body fat or trying to get to like the next level lean, then I would definitely say it's necessary to track macros, because it's a lot easier to know what to take out and what to add in and how much you should be eating. And it's the same thing with muscle gaining. If you're trying to put on muscle and you don't know how much you're eating and you see that your weight isn't really going up, it's a little bit hard to kind of make changes to your diet when you don't really know exactly how much you're taking in every single day. So tracking macros definitely makes everything a little bit more consistent, but I definitely understand that it's not for everyone. So if you don't feel like being a slave to a food tracking log and a food scale, you can most definitely stick to intuitive eating. And things that I would recommend for those of you out there who do want to do intuitive eating and still want to stick to a good nutritious diet, I would highly recommend sticking to at least 3 cups of veggies a day, having protein with at least 4 meals of your day. A really easy way to kind of gauge your portions with protein and fats and carbs is, for women, is a palm-sized portion of protein. So anything like chicken, fish, salmon, steak, anything like that. And then for men it's double. And then for vegetables, you can use a fist-sized serving, so anything like broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, tomatoes, mushrooms, whatever you please. For women, it's recommended to get 1 fist-sized serving of vegetables, whereas for men it's recommended to get 2 fist-sized servings of vegetables. For carbohydrates, it's recommended to use a cupped sized serving, so basically just cupping your hands and then whatever that is, and that's how you can determine your carbohydrate serving. So for men, same thing, it's 2 servings. For women, it's 1 serving. And then for fat intake, you can go ahead and use your thumb, basically a thumbful of any fats, so kind of like nuts. I guess you can kind of measure avocado with a thumb. The cool thing about this is if you are a bigger person, you'll most likely need more food, and you guys know if we are bigger, our hands are going to be bigger as well. So it's actually pretty accurate, and it's a pretty easy way to track your food if you don't want to get too technical with a food scale. In my opinion, I do think it's good to track macros until you get to that goal, and then after that you can kind of like ease off of tracking. Or if you don't mind it like me and you just don't mind tracking macros year round, then you can feel free to do that. But I definitely know it's not realistic nor sustainable to track macros for most people, because it's time consuming and it's just not ideal. So if you don't want to be on a meal plan and you don't want to be tracking macros and constantly weighing food, then you can definitely use all the tips that I mentioned in the video. A really easy way to kind of avoid overeating when you are doing intuitive eating, aside from listening to your hunger cues and just making sure that you're eating when you're hungry and not just eating because you're bored or because you're thirsty and things like that, is just sticking to very simple, wholesome, nutritious foods. Stay away from processed foods, because those foods can honestly add up really, really fast. This is why people associate healthy eating with fat loss. It's because healthy foods are normally lower in calories. So if you are picking these kind of foods, then obviously you're automatically going to be in a deficit, and a deficit is going to result in fat loss. So it's not the food that helps with fat loss, it's the fact that you're eating in a caloric deficit. So if you are doing intuitive eating and you don't want to get too technical with your diet, the easiest way to do it and achieve fat loss would just be to make sure that you're sticking to foods that are healthy and are satisfying. That way you don't find yourself overeating. Like if you compare 2 Pop-Tarts, which would have like 400 calories, to a big 400 calorie salad, I guarantee you'll be a lot more satisfied from the salad than you will be from those 2 Pop-Tarts, because you'll probably end up being hungry after the Pop-Tarts, eating more food, and that's when the overeating happens. So like I said earlier, it's not about restricting yourself or seeing food as bad or good. It's just about knowing what your goals are, being mindful with what you're putting in your body, and just being aware of how much you're eating and what is going in your body. So I think that's about it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this half kind of full day of eating. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you enjoy my content, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one.